What is the worst thing about Stanford?
The fact that I'm not gonna not say that.
Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Amaro Ordonez Jacobson. I am a sophomore.
My name is Libby. I'm a sophomore.
I'm Oluseyi Gundepe. I'm a sophomore.
Hi, my name is Sydney. I'm a sophomore.
I'm Bakal. I'm a sophomore.
Hey everyone, I'm Cynthia. I am a sophomore.
So I'm Max Stu. I'm currently a sophomore.
Is there anything you wish you had known about Stanford before coming here?
I didn't really know too much about Stanford whenever I applied. I knew they had an Air Astro program. I was like, cool. I like Air Astro. I had a lesson with the saxophone professor. I was like, cool. I like the saxophone professor. I think just like knowing more about like what, 5 units, what 15 units, what 20 units, what over 20 units feels like. I think that's something that I would have liked to have known like beforehand, but also like, can you really describe what 22 units is like? Not really. Apart from pain.
I guess I didn't know too much about like the type of clubs and stuff that were being offered here.
The quarter system moves fast. It moves insanely fast. And what's true, especially for pre-med students, is that you have to learn the same amount of material that a semester student would in like a semester squeezed into 10 weeks.
What was the most surprising thing about coming to Stanford?
How diverse it is. I think it's interesting to like meet like all these like different people from like everywhere. It's interesting to be able to like talk to people that have been to like a bunch of other different places and to just like ask what it's like.
Probably how eager everyone else is to learn also. At my high school, like there are a lot of people that are like, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be learning this, and that kind of affects how you learn too, because you want to be around people who are also excited. And it's not like everyone here is like always enthusiastic 24/7. We're tired, there's other things going on, but in general, we're all like really excited about what you're learning about, and it's so fun to be with people.
It's a very interesting kind of community, I feel like being here as a student. I think it's partially that people are like kind of trying to network or whatever and be like, no, and be like, so that like if you do something crazy, people like, oh, I know you, hoo-hoo, give me a job or whatever. The benefit of that is that it feels like you can have a pretty good conversation of like just about anyone you come across. People are very well versed, I guess, in topics, and it just kind of leads to a lot of interesting discussions you can just kind of have with anyone.
How easy it is to like major whatever you want, because I came in as a bio major, but then I took a CS class and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. But I was scared that I'd have to go through another application process of getting into like the School of Engineering instead of humanities and stuff. But no, like once you get in, like you can go, within any department, which is really nice.
How normal everyone is. Like I thought I was going to get here and have like some mad imposter syndrome, and like not that I haven't had imposter syndrome, but like you hear about and you think about schools like this all the time, and you're like, everyone there must be some sort of like psychopath genius, like maniac, mad scientist. But no, we're all just like normal kids who have like passions about various things, and it's a really, really nice and like collaborative environment.
How like easy it was for me to get along with everyone here. I may have come into like Stanford with like the thought that like maybe it would be easier for me to like relate to certain people because of like maybe some like certain like upbringing that we had, or like it may have been more difficult for me to like relate to other people. But I definitely didn't find that like feel like that was the case at all. There's so many like traits that I can admire and like really click with with like so many people here on campus.
How often do you call home?
Maybe like once a week.
3 or 4 times a week.
Every few weeks or so, my parents will usually call me.
I think at some point it is also nice to like call back home and be like, oh, how's this person doing? Oh, they're exactly the same way as they were whenever I left. Excellent.
I try to call home once a week.
Not as often as I should. I try to do at least once a week.
I think I try to call home once a week, just to kind of check in on things.
There's something like that helps me like relax and like slow down whenever like I talk to my parents back at home.
So it ebbs and flows, and right now, right at this moment, I would say not enough. I don't call home like every day or like every other day, but every time I call my parents, I talk to them for like an hour, because there's just like so much to catch up on.
How much sleep do you get on average?
On average, I get like 6 hours. I normally go to bed between like 12 and 1 a.m. and I normally wake up between like 6 and 7 a.m.
Like 7 to 8 hours.
Probably 7 to 8 hours.
Unlike some other people, my sleeping habits I feel like are relatively normal. 6 to 7 hours of sleep every night, which is Pretty good. I think I'm actually getting more sleep than I did in high school.
It varies. It varies a lot. For example, we just had finals week, so I've been getting like maybe 3 to 4 a night, 3 or 4 hours, just like regular school year. Like I do get my like 7 to 8.
Sometimes I can sleep all the way until like 11, like right before my classes start. And other times I'll go to bed at like 4 in the morning and then wake up at 8 because I have something going on.
A lot of the dining halls close at 9 a.m. for breakfast, and I am a breakfast person, and so I try to get up at like 8:30, but I also like to sleep very late, around 2:30 to 3 in the morning. So I'm automatically bounded by the number of hours I get.
What are you involved with on campus?
I'm in SWAV, I'm in SSI, I'm in LSJUM. I'm also in PASU, the Filipino American Student Union. It's a lot of fun. And you know, I think the good thing about being here is that everything is so informal and so just kind of like whatever. And like there are like a lot of people that are like super involved. But like if you just want to go have a good time or not go and just like do work or hang out or whatever, you can also do that.
I did Gaities in the fall, which is a fun Stanford tradition. It's a big theater performance thing to get everyone excited about the big game.
I'm trying to get kind of more involved with the Black Student Union, and then I wanted to do a martial art while I was here, so I've ended up in the Taekwondo club.
I'm in a club called Help for Kids, and we teach like health education to 6th graders. Sometimes I do some pickup volleyball games. I'm in a lab doing research.
So I'm pretty heavily involved in student government. I'm the vice president of the student body here. I'm still involved with Model UN. I'm still doing research. I shadow, do the pre-med things. I volunteer with Cardinal Free Clinics.
Not necessarily clubs, so I'm working on some like projects that are like available through like some research groups. They're like small research groups. So like it really depends like what's going on.
So I'm involved in Professor Chelsea Finn's lab, and so we do some stuff with robotics, we do some stuff with reinforcement learning. Beyond research, I'm also involved with the Stanford Storytelling Project.
I have the belief that anyone could thrive here. Anyone could come here and like do well at school, do well in their extracurriculars, you know, really make an impact on campus. You just have to be involved.
How hard would you say Stanford is on a 1 to 10 scale?
Like Mo's hardness or
Probably a 6.
Probably like a 7 or an 8.
Like a 6.
Yeah, I'm like a 6.
I'd say 7.5.
the 7 or an 8. Not diamond hard though. What's a 7 or an 8 on Mo's hardness?
It definitely varies from class to class, and like even like majors or like requirements and stuff can vary a lot. But academically, I'd place it at like a 7 out of 10.
What is the best thing about Stanford?
I do enjoy how informal everything is though. Like I said, like when it comes to like clubs and stuff, like to a lot of the clubs it's super low commitment. You show up every once in a while and they're like, "Oh, guy." And you're like, "Yeah." And then it's like, "Okay, whatever." You go off and you do your own thing.
I wasn't as comfortable with myself in high school as I am here. I just feel like I fit in here more than I did in like my high school.
There's just a lot to do on campus. Anything you want to do or get involved in is very possible. It's just merely a matter of looking it up and just reaching out to inquire about it, because I guarantee you'll be able to do it.
I'm trying not to say the people because I know that that's like a very like well-trodden answer.
The people.
The people.
I definitely think it's the people.
Just as I was saying before, like I didn't expect to like be able to click with so many people here, and like people here are so willing to like take the time out of their day to help you, to really try to understand you. Like I feel like I've actually I've met so many true friends here.
There are so many fruit trees on campus that I've gone into a very bad habit of just grabbing things from trees and eating them. Do not do this in real life, because in real life you would probably be dead. But at Stanford, you get an orange or a lemon or like this weird strawberry tree fruit.
So I live in like a row house, which is not on a row. It's called Zap. And we have an amazing personal chef. His name is Salvador, and he was like absolutely amazing. He let me use like the panini press as like a toaster oven when the oven was broken. So I love him.
What is the worst thing about Stanford?
The chem department.
You know, I'd feel bad being like, oh, like this is like I go to Stanford and this thing is so bad, because it's like I understand that it's such a privilege to even be able to come here. And this is not just true of Stanford, but I think that there's a lot of places, especially on college campuses in the United States right now, where like students need to be supported by their administrations, by their faculty, especially as we're transitioning out of like this weird COVID era online school back into like normalcy, where we're just not getting the support that we need. A lot of times I feel like the feedback that students have for staff and for faculty isn't really heard or internalized as well as it should be.
The chem department.
I'd say honestly just how they handled the whole COVID year, online school.
I think one thing about Stanford is like everyone, there's like definitely like a perfectionist culture here. People are definitely willing to admit that they're struggling things, but there are also definitely other aspects where people just like do not verbally say that they're struggling, and this can apply to other things besides academics as well.
How does Stanford compare to what you expected?
I'd say it's a lot faster than I expected it to be, and it's a lot more informal than I expected it to be because of like where I grew up and like how I grew up. Like I saw like this school as like being like super prestigious, a place where like innovation is born and blah, 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 because Silicon Valley and whatever. So like I thought like it'd be like imposing and like super scary like schools like on the East Coast. But I mean, I feel like it's pretty relaxed.
I guess I also expected there to be a bit more like startup culture stuff eminent, or like evident. Like people be like, "Oh, join my startup. We're gonna like I'm dropping out of school, make a startup. You want to join me?" But like there isn't as much of that as you expect. It's definitely still here. You can find it if you look.
I didn't expect to become so familiar with the campus so quickly. Like I really thought when I first was looking here, I was like, it's huge. Like how could I ever feel like this, like I understand this campus at all? And I haven't even been here that long. I'm already like, I feel like this is home. Like I understand where everything is.
I guess I expected people to be a bit more intellectual, I suppose is the word, in terms of like discussion topics and stuff. And be like, oh, let's talk about the theory of relativity today. I didn't expect them to be as fun, I guess.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna fit in to Stanford because there's people coming from like absolutely like the best corners of like every part of the world, and like I wasn't sure if I could like match up to them or if I was able to like be accepted. As I said before, I was like been pleasantly like I guess surprised at how transparent people are with like the fact like if they're struggling with something, like people will typically say it, and it's made me feel like a lot like just like being able to be quite open with people.
Stanford, I feel like, is so much more than I expected it to be. And I say this from the perspective of somebody who did an entire year of Stanford online and thought that it was the coolest thing ever. And then I came to real life Stanford and I was like, oh wait, that was nothing.
How much are you enjoying Stanford on a 1 to 10 scale?
Are we at Mo's hardness again? I would say 10. I would say I'm enjoying it a lot. A lot now that I've finished finals. Before finals, I would have told you 2, maybe
8.
Say like a 9.
Say maybe 8.
I would say definitely like a 9 out of 10.
I'm learning a new language, so like I'm applying to programs like to go overseas, because like this is a place where like programs are constantly being like thrown at you so that you can apply to them. Like whereas like in high school, like I said, like I did not know about anything. So now like I'm aware of this like plethora of different like programs that like I want to apply to all of them, and I'm glad that I'm in a place where like I can apply to all these places. I can be the one to reject them whenever they accept me, That's the dream though, like to be like, oh, I have I can pick what I do this summer. You don't get to decide for me.
There's just so much opportunity here that a lot of times you feel like if you're not taking advantage of everything, you're not getting the most out of this experience. But I think what you have to realize is like you like going out and having fun with your friends and just like taking some time to enjoy the parts of Stanford that aren't all the like the work and the grind and the academics is equally as important, and it's equally as fundamental to what your future is going to look like.
I think I am at an 8 right now. So I feel very lucky to be able to attend Stanford, and I've met a lot of great people here.
What is the accomplishment you are most proud of?
Getting accepted.
Just making it through Zoom.
But like in general, I definitely get a much bigger sense of accomplishment when I finish any assignment here than I did in high school. There's definitely a lot more challenge involved. And like it's probably more particularly in CS assignments that I feel the most accomplished.
During high school, we made it to the state championships. That was pretty cool. It was nice like representing that big of a community, and just like knowing all the hard work we put towards that. see it manifest and play out.
I was an author on a paper for the first time in terms of research recently. And that was like a full like summer's worth of like really hard work.
I'm really happy and really appreciative to be part of this particular research lab. I had no idea how competitive it was to get in until I looked back and I realized that I kind of slipped in.
I think I worked a lot on like just like my relationships with the people in my life. Like I tried to really like put effort into like showing care for the people in my life. And I also feel like I discovered a lot more about like my own personality and like what kind of person I am. Now I'm like a lot more confident and more secure in the person that I am, and I feel like that's brought me a lot of happiness.
Thanks, gamers, for watching my video. Press like and subscribe, and make sure to hit the button bell with the button bell on it. The one ding, and have a great afternoon, morning, noon, or night, wherever you are. Because Lordrick's International, Mr. Worldwide, like Pitbull, editor, edit a picture of Lordrick in my fingers with Pitbull's face on him. Isn't that funny? Okay, good night.